what's up, everybody? We have this episode coming up. We cover the incident going on over there in Memphis, Tennessee. Talk about a few stories, somewhat relate to that. A few other topics. A good episode. We have another announcement, a couple things that we got going on. So,
a few things are postponed. A few things are
we're gonna put on the back burner. So, tune in. Don't miss it. Thank you guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. I guess we're gonna have to scream on the microphones on.
Yeah, we have mics. I'm mic'd up.
Yeah. Saturday. So
January 28th.
One thing that we're gonna, I think I wanted to get into was I think the biggest thing like in the news right now was with the tennis in Memphis, Tennessee, the whole officer brutality thing. You said you didn't watch it yet?
No, I didn't watch it.
So yeah, I read the article with the little bit of what they let out, and I watched some of the videos. The videos, it's
what happened? We'll I guess get into it. So for the people that don't know, what happened?
Okay, so there was officers in Memphis. They were behind a vehicle, which I didn't see. Okay, so on the video that I seen, it was the body cam footage from I think they're deputies, but I know they're officers. But anyways, I was watching it, and then so I was kind of picking it apart. But as apparently it was reckless driver, so then they go to do a traffic stop, and I want to say, because I only saw the one body cam footage from the one officer, but I want to say there was other officers that might have initiated it, because as the officer's driving, the body cam's activated, and then he throws his lights on. So I mean, someone doesn't know they're being pulled over until there's
wigwags.
Well, it's a distinctive solid red light. So that's how you distinguish law enforcement. You see that solid red light, and then also you have the wigwags going, but that solid red one's signifying it's a
I think too with me anyways, and I'm sure a lot of other civilians or people, even if you're not, like, say you're not doing anything wrong, you maybe ran a red light or didn't stop at the stop sign long enough. When you get pulled over by the cops, you're kind of at edge already. You're kind of nervous.
Yeah,
how the interaction's gonna be.
I mean, but see, here's the thing. Like, if it's just like a simple traffic violation and nothing else is happening, like that's all you have to worry about. I mean, typically you should be fine. Like, just go with the flow.
But people still, maybe they have anxiety or something. They get kind of, fuck, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
I'm not gonna stop.
And then, and I mean, to piggyback off that too. I mean, if you don't have any experiences, and the thing that kind of sucks about media, and I mean, obviously it's for views. Majority of the time when you're seeing things on the news, it's always like a lot of negative things.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do they find like positives, where officers are out there helping, actually doing good things for helping people out.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't have any of those experiences, and it's just a lot of negative stuff.
That's what they're basing their opinion on. Yeah.
So the one guy, he puts his lights on, and then so his lights are on for probably about 7 seconds, and then the vehicle stops, and it's like right before an intersection, and so he's behind him, and then there's another vehicle to the right of the suspect vehicle, parallel, and then another one comes side with the front end facing the passenger door of the suspect vehicle. So the officer behind him jumps out, and then the other 3 guys jump out. And they're telling him, get out, and they pull him out of the vehicle. And I mean, obviously everybody operates different. I mean, I can say, like, when I was early in my career, still learning.
Fuck out!
Yeah, like, you'll do things like that. But also too, like, for a civilian standpoint that people don't understand, when you're pulling somebody over and they don't stop, there's a few different reasons, like in the officers' heads, why they're not stopping.
Yeah.
Like, there's
not safe.
Dope or drugs, dope or guns or something in the vehicle. They might have just committed a crime that they're, getting away from. Warrants for, serious violations, stuff like that. So all these things are running through officers' heads. That's why they're not stopping. So it looked like a felony. It was going to be a felony stop. The felony stop. Remember?
Yeah,
those?
2 vehicles like that, and then call them out.
Yeah, and it's
give them
commands.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it was gonna be like that, but instead of doing the actual felony stop, the guy ran out. The one officer pulls him out, and they throw him on the ground. But I think first right now I want to say, like, in no facet am I saying that what the guys did were right. They were 100% wrong. Everything they did was wrong. I felt. And so as they pull him out, and a lot of times, like, if we're in like a critical situation, maybe sometimes, like maybe in basic, you had some situations like that when you're trying to stay calm, but if you have your drill instructor screaming at you, you're hyped, like, and then, you know what I mean? So it escalates the situation, like, in your head. Maybe something's not going on, but because all these people are screaming, like, in your head, like,
we had real quick, we had so when I got to Fort Leonard Wood, it was the 42nd, like, it's the department and the 42nd unit, and they in-process you. So you're there for 10 days, so you don't know where the hell you're at. And then you get on a bus after you do all your paperwork. You get on a bus, and then you have to put your head in your bag so no one can see nothing, or you can't see where
I've
you're
seen
going.
a couple of videos of that.
Yeah, and then, like, if you look up, like, you got your fucking head down. So then when you get there, you get off the bus, and you're probably like a quarter mile from where you have to be. So you start running. You have to run. You have all your bags, all your gear, everything. You're running.
Your stuff that you brought, or stuff they issued you?
No. Everything that they issue you.
Okay.
Or no. All your stuff. So you have your stuff, then you have your. They give you right when they give you all your uniforms. You get your big duffel bag, and you have 2 big duffel bags, and you're carrying them, and you're running, and so the girl fell. One of the girls fell like maybe 10, 15 yards into the run. So then she's on the ground. She's young, probably like 18, 19. And she's on the ground trying to get up all her bags. And then you have the 4 drill sergeants just screaming at her. So yeah, like, she didn't know what the fuck to do. She's just
and at that point, you're like, you're fragging out.
Yeah.
I mean, so
when I got to where we're at, I think I tripped a little, and then my finger was bleeding, so I was like fucking just squeezing. I was like, whatever. But everyone's like, I didn't know what to expect. They were like freaking out. Yeah, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and so you're kind of going off their energy. So the one guy, they pull him out, and they start giving him like commands immediately. But there's like screaming, which, like I said, that's gonna go depending on your. I'm only speaking like for me. Like I feel like it's gonna go on depending like your experience. Like a younger officer is gonna be screaming, doing all that, as opposed to maybe a veteran officer. You have them pulled out, so hey, start giving them commands, but like
commands,
stern,
yeah.
But you're not screaming at them like just like some like just some punk, you know what I mean? Like get the fuck, like they were talking like the way they were talking. I'm saying because he was like, I think he said like put your fucking arms behind your back or I'll fucking break it, something to that effect. And the guy like he maintained like his composure for a little bit. You know, he's saying, hey, you guys are. He was real calm. He's like, hey, you guys are doing like too much right now, and so he's telling them he's telling them get back. He's saying I'm gonna fucking tase you, this and that. So, but I kind of watched the video a few times because you have to break it down. Like you're hearing it, you're hearing like by hearing it sounds really bad, but when you're looking at it too, it's different because what I've seen when they pulled him out. And he did have one arm behind his back, and he was on his like his right side on his side with one arm back, and they're telling him, get on your stomach, and then so he's all, I am on my stomach, which he wasn't. He was on his side, and they said, put your arms behind your back. He said, like I'm doing it, I have him behind my back, but he only had the one where he had the right arm still, where he could like push up or whatnot. So it looked like they were trying to, cuff him or whatnot. So in that. They ended up pepper spraying, but I don't know at which point because you can't really see it. It's real dark.
Yeah.
So I think at that point that's when the suspect popped up, and then he took off beeline and took off running, and then now we're in the leg belt taking off. So he's gone. But I'm gonna pause it right there, which I think for me, like I'm at my third department right now, and where one of the reasons why I really love our department is because we do quarterly defensive tactics, and we had just done our training this past week, and so our instructors, what they do, they go down south to one of the Gracie camps, and it's not just somebody that, oh, I train at Gracie, so I'm going to train you guys. These are like, some of these people are actually Gracie, from the Gracie family,
bloodline,
that are helping you out, and so in situations like that. They teach us like defensive tactics, different maneuvers you could do. If you already have them on the ground, like stay on them where you're eliminating that space between you and you're holding them. And then now the other biggest thing is communication. Before we go, we'll keep.
But see, and then like for me too, when I got pepper sprayed or the mace, whatever it was, OC, yeah. I started panicking because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So you got to think you have fucking 4 officers on you, and then they pepper spray you, and you're to your knowledge you're doing what they're telling you to do, and then you're fucking pepper sprayed on top of that, and then you can't breathe. Like,
yeah,
I know they're cops, but still, it's like fuck, I'm gonna die, or you feel like you're gonna die. I felt like I was gonna die, and I was in a controlled environment.
But see, he was doing things that they were telling him to a certain extent. But you're right, yes, that. You may not be doing to the T, but you're thinking, okay, I'm following direction, but this is happening. But, and then I can't stress it enough, dude, like I said, everything the guys did at the end of it everything was wrong, but at the end of the day, if an officer is telling you to do something, please just do it. Yeah. And if they're in the wrong, it's gonna come to light.
Yeah.
You could sue them, sue the department, the city, whatnot. Do it after the fact. If they're in the wrong, follow the direction, hands behind my back, I'm done, whatever you want me to do, and then, okay, this wasn't right, so now I'm going to take action after the fact. And that eliminates everything. And
there was I don't know if you've seen it, there was one, so it was a stakeout, and they put a package on the front door, so, and they were trying to get the what's it called? The porch pirates.
Okay. Yeah.
So a guy left the area. They lost visual of
civilians, or is this cops?
Cops. It was a stakeout. It was all cops, and they lost sight of the package for a moment, and then a guy happened to be driving by, so they pull that guy over. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's not listening to commands. He's not getting out, but he didn't do anything wrong, and the guy ends up punching him in the face, and then pulling him out of the car, then kicking him, and then they handcuff him. And then the guy, he has all the cool tactic gear on, ski mask, he has the tac vest and everything. And he's all like, he has the package in here. So they're opening he never had the package. So, and the package was still at the house. So there was no reason for them to take him in or anything, or kick him or punch him.
Yeah.
And then, so like you said, later on, he ended up suing the department. He got money, and then the guys got fired.
He was compliant, or they immediately started
They started yelling at him like he did something wrong already, so he's already on the defense. Like he didn't do nothing. Like they opened the door, they're trying to yank him out already, and he's like, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's he was on the ground. He was kind of following commands, not to the T, but I understand like we were just talking about. If you're getting screamed at, you kind of frag out, so you think you're doing something, but you're kind of not. So anyways, he gets up, beelines it. He takes off, and so now they put over the radio, leg bell, and they give direction. They gassed out pretty quick, and then so they.
What was the initial call? Do you know?
Or was it just a traffic violation? That it was a reckless driver.
Oh, okay.
Is what it was. So, excuse me. So, from the body cam footage, so it's the one officer who's behind the suspect vehicle. So he goes back with the other officer whose vehicle was parallel with the suspect vehicle, and that one, I don't know if he sprayed the guy or someone, because there was I believe there was 4 of them for the initial traffic stop, and those other 2 guys might have sprayed, I'm not sure, but they took off and there was just those 2 guys. So the one guy was behind me.
How is there 4 officers and you can't subdue 1 suspect?
Here's the thing too. I don't know like the toxicology reports or anything like that, but there's been situations where 4 or 5 officers isn't enough. You have some guy high on meth, PCP. He has superhuman strength where you're gonna need more than 4 or 5 officers.
Or is there training lacking?
It could be a combination of both. And that, I mean, that's why too, like like I said, with
Racing.
we're lucky with ours, dude, because all of our instructors, dude, they're squared away, man, and like the way they break everything down, and we learn new things all the time, and it's utilized too, because I've used some of the techniques that they had,
Mm-hmm.
me and another officer, and it's funny because like in my head, I think I said it out loud. I didn't watch my body cam footage, but I'll say it out loud, and I'll be talking like through the steps.
Move.
Yeah, because he was holding his arms under in his hands, and then so I was putting my knee down, and I was like monkey grip, like they teach us and stuff,
Yeah.
and get his arm back. And it was like step by step by step.
He's
man.
doing the monkey grip.
Yeah, it was, but it worked to the T, dude.
Yeah.
Like it worked, but it might be that they're lacking training, or it might be that I don't know. We don't. Everything else will surface, but so anyways, that guy's the one officer's helping the other one. He's pouring water on his eye, like flushing his eyes because he got sprayed, and he was compromised. He took his vest off, he took all the stuff off, and he was cleaning himself. And two other I think it was a sheriff and another officer came asking
On scene or on
where the initial scene, and
Yeah.
he said where did he go, and they told him where he ran, and then a sheriff and an officer take off to go look for him. So those two guys stayed there. Over the radio, I believe it said that they located him in a certain area, and there was a few officers that were had visuals, so they were going to try to go make contact with them. So the one officer that was pepper sprayed, and he was still recovering. I feel like he was compromised, so I mean, I'm not going to put myself in danger, because then at that point there was no search done, nothing. We don't know if he has a gun, knife, whatever it may be. If I'm going to make contact with them, I want to be 100%. Like,
Yeah.
Physically, I don't want any contributing factors to cloud my safety. So, and I already know there's multiple officers there that are gonna make contact with them, right?
They got it.
Yeah,
They got it covered.
and I understand you want to be in the fight, but that goes back to what I was saying about experience. Like at the end of the day, we're there to preserve safety, preserve life. You know what I mean? Prevent crimes, and I'm gonna get paid. I'm gonna go home, whether I catch the bad guy or the bad guy gets away. But we're still gonna continue to search for him and find him later on after the fact. So when that officer that was sprayed and he was still cleaning his eyes or whatnot, he heard that. So he said, "Get your stuff." He told the officer, "Get your stuff off my car." And he put it because he has glasses.
It's
And
like
stuff.
fucking driving one act.
Yeah, dude. He puts his vest on. He grabs his stuff, jumps in the car, takes off, clears the intersection, and he's gone. And I feel like at that point, he was kind of taking it personal.
Yeah.
Because at least everybody that I've worked with, where I'm at now, I trust that if there's 4 or 5 of them, of those officers, they're capable of handling that situation without me. And that's the trust that I have with them, and the skills that I think they possess too. All of us as officers at that department, because everyone is really squared away, dude. That's what I like about it. Just like the military, like you guys have,
who's good and who's
yeah. So then, they take off. That guy stays there. I think he was going to stay with the vehicle, do all that stuff. And then when they got to the other spot, it was when I walked, because it was like they had a street light and they had a camera up top. So that camera just caught everything. And when I saw, when I was watching.
Do we have that around here?
Not that I know of. I think it's more like those bigger cities.
That's cool.
So it was.
It has murders and shit like that. Yeah.
And so when I was watching it, dude, it was just, it was making me upset, and I was mad about it. So when I started watching it, like one guy was behind them and had him, and then another guy from the side comes and like punches him in the face a couple times, and like he's fighting away, and then another guy comes and hits him a couple times, and he eventually falls. Before he fell, the other officer, I'm not sure if they had pepper sprayed him again at the second scene where the fight was, but he was back and he was like still cleaning his eyes out. I don't know if it was the same officer from the
reactivated,
maybe
from the sweat or something,
or maybe they pepper sprayed him again. I don't know, but anyways, he was cleaning up, and then he comes back, or he comes over there, expands his baton, and then he's like looking for an angle, and then he hits him a couple times. The guy falls, and then he gets to the ground, and then they kick him a few times, and it's just it was
street justice.
I was telling Kenna, like, if you looked at that and nobody told you like the backstory or anything, it would have been like one of those videos you see on social media, like the World Star ones, where they just beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
It was bad, dude.
Like a third world fucking country.
Yeah, and so anyways, they get him down.
Like on the when they're out during COVID and they're on the motorcycle, they're just whipping them with the fucking thing. That's pretty much how it is.
Yeah, dude. And so they end up getting him down, getting him cuffed, and after they get him cuffed, I don't know if he was unconscious or not. I would imagine he was because of the injuries he had. But they propped him up against one of the units, so he's like in a seating position. And then so EMS gets there. And I believe there was like a 4 or 5 minute delay till somebody finally says, hey, we should probably look at this guy. And then they come and they start evaluating him and then they get him out of there. But one of the biggest things that they teach you too is like communication. Mm-hmm. Like I remember this one time, it was in Huron, and me and Devil Dog, we were fighting with this guy. But the thing that, and I was early in my career, I was like maybe 7 months, 8 months. And what we were both kind of lacking was he had the guy, I had the guy, but he was trying to pull him down this way, and I was trying to pull him down the other way because there's already a 148, like a resistant arrest.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we weren't communicating with each other saying, hey, I'm going to take him down this way, grab his legs or whatnot. We're not talking. And then, so once we kind of acknowledged that, Devil Dog slammed him, and then we got him and cuffed him, and then that was that. I'm not the strongest guy, the biggest guy. There's always someone out there bigger, stronger than you. One of the biggest things that I do, like when I get into a fight where someone's resisting, like my go-to, Joe Con, shout out Joe Conley, Exeter Wrestling Monarchs. I go back to muscle memory wrestling, dude. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock you up. We're gonna go to the ground, and then from there, we're gonna evaluate what do I have? Do I have his arm? What am I gonna do? But at that point, I have other officers coming. So if I don't necessarily have to cuff the guy there. Yeah. I could hold you. I could wait for someone to come, and then once they come, hey, Joe, grab his arm, bring it to his back, cuff him there, and then I'm gonna bring this arm up. He can hear you talking though. Huh? He'll hear you. Yeah, he can hear, but we're gonna have other people there.
He's gonna scream at you.
That's fine. I mean, it is what it is, man. And but see,
can't give me your own self.
And see that, but in all seriousness, that's a good point. If you're gonna let that get to you, then I mean that's another thing. Being a younger officer, having a younger mind, I'm gonna use all the help I can get to make my job easier.
Yeah.
I want to know how old the guys were. I feel like the way they reacted was what a younger officer would do, and someone who
maybe an officer that's been doing it for years and been getting away with it.
That too. But I mean, I hate to be like that guy. Oh, he should have did this. He should have did that. I don't
quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know his strength or whatnot, but. You have 4 officers there. I feel like instead of punching somebody in the face, if one guy had him wrapped and you start telling him, "Hey, grab his leg," I feel like
lock him up.
Yeah, I feel like they could have utilized other techniques other than strikes. The one time, and I was telling Kayla about this yesterday, and I think I might have told you. I don't know if I said on the podcast, but it was when I was at work. I was on patrol, and it was early, dude. It was like maybe 8 in the morning. 8 or 9, and we had a call at a gas station. Sometimes when you get calls, reporting parties who call the police, they're really big on details. So what we had was a possible 211, which is a robbery with criminal threats. Criminal threats: I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna beat the shit out. Something to that effect. So I get in the area, and a guy to the T matches the description. I see him, and I flip it. I put my lights on. He starts beelining it. So he takes off running, and there's a laundromat right there in the area, and then just south of that, there's a big transit center where the buses come and all that stuff. So as I pull behind him with my lights on, I go over the P. I said, "Stop running! Get down! Stop running!" And he keeps running. And that laundromat, there's an alleyway on the west side of it, and then the next street, on the east side is a street. So he's basically running in circles around it. Yeah. So that I'm following him. I said, okay. I'm gonna have to get off and chase this guy. So then finally I floor it, pull almost next to him, throw it in park, close my door, and I chase him. And they have there was like a doctor's office, but it was abandoned, which was in between the dry cleaning place and the transit center. And it was in the back was like a carport. And you know, you have the wood pillars.
Yeah.
Though they were cement pillars. So I ran over there, and he hugs the cement pillar, and
was he the suspect?
Yes,
okay.
100%. And
what about if he wasn't? He just took off running.
That's the
He
thing.
fit the description.
Yeah, why am I
Okay.
stopping him? Because he matches the guy to the T. So that's my justification to stop him. That's my probable cause, my reasonable suspicion that I'm contacting him. So he hugs the pole, and so I'm telling him, get down, put your hands behind your back, get down, stop resisting. So at that point, he's resisting. So in the academy, you have all these they teach you have all these different tools that you could use in order to effect the arrest.
Yeah.
So, and you go up, voice command is one of them, and then you go up from there. So now he's not complying, so I have other options, which is OC spray, taser, baton. But I feel if I get my baton and I hit him with it, I could possibly break a bone. But what if I do a strike to his side, like his stomach area, to get him to let go of that pole, and I can just get
pressure point.
And all I need is that little bit of space where I could get him down.
Yeah.
So I just deliver one strike to his side. He kind of winces over.
How hard? Full force?
As hard as I could to
sure,
try to effect it. So what he does, he grabs the pole and he just drops down. So he drops down, and I said, so he's on the ground now, but he's still hugging the pole. I said, all right. I said, put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. And this is where communication is key, dude, because if I'm just trying to beat him up, I'm grabbing him.
Not telling him anything.
Yeah, it's like,
bad.
What's going on? Why are you hitting me? You're not giving me direction, not telling me to do anything. So he hits the ground, and then and mind you, no search was done, nothing. I don't know what he has on him. So he hits the ground, and then the first thing he does was puts his hands under. So he puts his hands under, and so now I don't have the luxury of just waiting for another officer to help me because I don't know what he's reaching for, what he's trying to grab. So now it's a huge officer safety thing. So he's down, and I tell him, put your hands behind your back. And this is another crazy thing, like when they do scenarios, like in a controlled setting, it sounds easy, like I have my radio, hey, start me back up, I'm fighting with somebody. But you got to remember all these things you're doing. Let dispatch know, hey, I'm in a 148, and then there's no address that I could give out that I knew of, but I knew the transit center was right there. And I said, I'm just north of the transit center behind the dry cleaning. And then boom, and then so now we're going, and then the cool thing though is from my first department where you just have two officers roaming and that's it. I'm there and I have this guy down, and then I hear in the distance, like I hear sirens coming, so I know my boys are coming to help me out. So
boys in blue.
So they're coming, and then so
blue bloods.
Now this point I have him down, but he's kind of pulling out like this a little bit. And mind you, I don't know what he has. What
about if he comes out with the gun?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know
what are you doing?
So at this point, I have my hand down on his. He had a hoodie on, so I have the hoodie and I'm pushing it down. And I'm giving him commands, and then as he starts like kind of pulling up, with one arm he has it down. This one he's kind of pulling up, not exposing it, just pulling it up a little bit. And I tell him again, put your hands behind your back, and he doesn't. So that's when the same spot that I hit him again, boom, in the same spot, and then he winces. And then when he winces, he put one arm up. So then I grabbed it, and mind you, I don't keep continuing to beat this guy. Yeah. That's not my goal to beat him up. I'm not taking any of this personal. Yeah. This is just my job.
Try to get him.
He committed a crime. My ultimate goal is to arrest him and take him to jail and let him, go to court of law and then fight it there if he wants to fight it. I'm not taking any of this personal. This is just like remember when we did maintenance, like we had to go drive around, empty the trashes. That our thing was just empty the trash. That's it. That's our goal. So our goal was to just arrest him. So he pulls one arm out. I grab it, cuff it, and then the other one he still has it tucked, but I have the cuff holding it like holding the one cuff like that. Yeah. And I'm telling him. So
that probably hurts.
Yeah. And I said, hey, but I have this one open so I could cuff him quick. And I said, put your other arm behind your back, and he's not listening. and then I hit him in the left side, boom. And then when I hit him with the left side, then that's when we give up and we cuff him, and then boom, we're done.
What was he saying? Was he saying anything? Or just
So after the fact, so he was extremely high on meth. Like he was mumbling something, but he was never. It wasn't audible. I didn't know what he was saying. But kind of the part where I fragged out a little bit, and it makes you second guess sometimes. As I cuffed him and my buddy came, he was coming, and I turned around. This guy in a truck was just maybe north of me, and he was like that with this camera, just recording me. So then,
why didn't he help you?
In my head, I was like, I believe I did everything right, and I know I'm in the right. I didn't do anything excessive.
Was it during? Oh, so you said
morning, like it was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So then we get I get him up. We get him up, put him in the car.
No conversation at all.
Not that I don't. He was saying stuff, but I don't recall what he said. And then so anyways, we get him to the PD. It was a big old thing because he gave me a fake name, but finally we did what's called a live scan. We did the fingerprints and everything. And the reason he was lying, he had a bunch of warrants too. So we get him to the county jail and come back. And as I'm coming back, I go to the city yard to put gas and whatnot. And then over the radio, my lieutenant, he says, meet with him at the PD. I was like, okay. And I said, 10-4 en route. And so now in my head, like, and like I'm sure in the milk, like when who's your boss, like the first sergeant?
Coming to first sergeant's office.
Yeah, so like
know you're in trouble.
Something's going on, right? Yeah. So I'm getting over there, and then lieutenant's there, and then the captain's there. And it's like, fuck, now it's big business.
My walking paper.
Yeah, captain's in there. And then the first thing he said was, dock your camera. So so when you dock your camera, it uploads all your videos, so then admin and everybody can watch it, see it, review it. So I dock it, and I was like, fuck, I fucked up or something happened. So I dock it, and then I come back, and then captain's like, hey, during that incident, someone recorded everything, and he's like, don't frag out, you did everything right, you're in the good. So then that kind of took a load off my chest, and so he kind of just basically told me, what happened, and I told him, call for serious possible 211 criminal threats, guy matching to the T, leg bell, fought with him, and I had to utilize a total like 3 strikes to effect the arrest. And so the guy, after the fact, what he wanted to do was so immediately after that, he came to the PD and gave the footage to the staff, the admin. But what he wanted to do was he wanted to give it, the reason he was doing all this, he gave the footage to them, was because he wanted to show, because the transients all around California, maybe other areas too, it's grown so big that it's like, pandemic's not the right word, but it's like overpopulation of them in the cities, and then it's kind of like
an abundance of them.
Yes, and it's creating more crime, more issues, and he wanted to show that basically what officers have to deal with like on a daily basis that people don't really see. So I guess he was kind of in a sense he was kind of on our side.
So he was black in the blue.
Yeah. So yeah, kinda, but that was one situation, and I don't. Other than that, I don't remember using much strikes to try to effect an arrest. I'm sure I have, but no more than that. That's like the most extreme problem that I've went in my whole 6 years of law enforcement. I feel like it's fucked up what happened to that guy, man, and I feel like
Did he die on the way to the hospital, or he died in the hospital?
I believe it said 3 days later he died.
Oh.
And the fucked up part was that they called his mom and said, hey, your son's he's 29, so your son's been arrested, he's at the hospital because he was tased and pepper sprayed. And the mom's like, okay, whatever.
No big deal, yeah.
Yeah, and then so the doctor tells the mom a couple days later and say, hey, you need to come down here. Your son's kidneys are failing, and it's
from getting beat.
Yeah, it was like basically it was shutting down, and so by the time the mom got there, he had already passed. but they said that his head was swollen. His
Jesus
neck was
Christ.
swollen because I think they said that his neck was broken or something was broken. That his neck.
It
was,
broke his neck?
It was
Expanded out?
bursting or something like that. They said there was some medical term. So it was a bad thing, dude. And it's there's definitely gonna.
It was like 2 minutes. You think about 2 minutes is a long time getting beat up.
Yeah, five.
If you're defenseless.
Yeah, 5 guys there too, but I see like a good point you brought up, like if he's there and he feels like he's doing everything possible, I mean, and he's like scared for his life, I could see why why he took off at that point, dude. But it was rough to watch. I was more mad than anything, and we already. With law enforcement, we're already looked at under a microscope by everybody.
Yeah.
And it goes back to your policies and procedures, man, and what you were taught and what you can do and cannot do. And that I believe everything that they did was stuff that you should not ever do to try to arrest somebody, man. I think more training needs to be done. We do it quarterly, but I mean, even that's not enough. I think you have to do more than that. And it's going to be a lot of blowback because after that, I mean, you remember how stuff was when the George Floyd thing happened?
Yeah. Well, on the news, they were saying they were going to be protests and stuff like that.
Peaceful protests.
They're asking for peaceful protests, but I don't know if it's going to be that.
So I seen one article. There was at the LAPD, they threw a couple of mortars at the police cars. Nobody was injured, but they were throwing some.
Where was it at? Memphis?
The incident happened in Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah.
But where were the mortars?
LAPD.
Oh, sure.
And the other thing with that is like you get as officers, it doesn't matter you as a person, you get coupled in as that. That's who you are. That's what you've done. No matter how much good you've done, or what you stand for.
That happens a lot too, because I remember like a lot of people when they get divided for political views. Like if you're in the military or law enforcement, oh, you're on this side and this is what you believe before you even meet the person.
They already have ideas about what you represent, but it's gonna be interesting what's to come of it, man. And
they were already getting over the hump where they want to defund the police and all this, and now this shit happens. It's gonna trigger a lot of.
And then too, another thing is that, they're being tried. They're being tried for 2nd-degree murder.
Yeah.
There's a few other charges on there, but it's gonna.
And all they had to do is just like you said, like it's not personal. They could have just we'll get them another day or something. But
and then too, the whole thing happened. It was a traffic violation. So
on a lighter note, we watched all those Western movies and
spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, why? Do you know what that means? Spaghetti westerns?
Yeah, I think because they were filmed in Italy.
It was cheaper to film in Italy because of the country, and it was more expensive in the States to film, so they would film over there. They call them spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, I remember. I think
it might. I don't know. It might even not be PC. Spaghetti westerns. But anyways,
Ghost on my.
Yeah. Like on Youngbloods and Tombstone, like they just deputized the people, like raise your right hand, and now they're cops. So back then, like what was there? They didn't have no training. Like they were
shoot first, ask questions last.
Yeah. So a lot of you're not gonna handcuff. I don't even know if there's handcuffs. They're gonna tie them up and then and bring them back to the jail cell.
Yeah.
So back then it was a lot crazier. It was the Wild West.
And back then too, it was like it was what is it? You said it earlier, like where they handle it amongst themselves. Street justice.
Yeah.
Like they just do it. If there's an issue, they handle it themselves.
And then they know that if they get caught, most of the time they're gonna get hung or killed. Yeah. So they just shoot their way out. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely make our job a lot harder, and then too, but see, I think getting ahead of it, working in the schools, you have to build that. When you build that relationship with the kids, or even in the community, which I like about our city is, we're backed by the community a lot.
Yeah.
So they know you as not just officers, but as, you know, people outside of work.
Well, at that Chambers dinner, the one last night, the awards, they talked real highly of the police department and the first responders and the fire departments as well.
And I mean, I said a million times, and I mean, I might be biased because I work there, but I mean, in all honesty, like I said, everybody there, it's when you're on a call with somebody, it doesn't matter who it is. It's everyone operates the same way.
Yeah.
And they know, everyone knows the ultimate goal. You know, if we have to arrest somebody, we have to arrest them. If we don't have to, we don't have to. But we could just counsel somebody and, you know, help them continue to do the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things. Like when I got for the school resource officer. So the way I looked at it was like a lot of the time in the streets you're contacting adults, older people majority of the time, and the majority of the time they have their mindset of what they think officers are. So one of the reasons I got into schools was I wanted to contact the kids and, you know, show them who I was as a person, you know, what I want to do there, and try to push them in the right direction. And then because sometimes all you need to do is just that one person,
That conversation.
a teacher, cop, counselor, whoever it may be, but let them know, like, hey, you're kind of fucking up doing this. If you did it this way, you might be better, longer in life. You might, you know, achieve more if you do this. And, you know, some people don't have that at home when they come back, and when they come home, and it's just, you know, maybe because mom or dad's working or dad's gone, and they really don't have time for that because their main goal is, you know, put food on the table, pay the bills, and they have to work, you know, 9 to 5, and then another job after that. So, and I like it, dude. Like a lot of the kids, they're cool, they're funny, man, and, you know, like they have their thing, like he did it, or like the other, or like that too, but they have like the same little jokes and stuff, and you mess around.
Here comes the cops.
Yeah, but they're cool, dude. Like I got real lucky at the school I'm at. I love it. Kids are fun. The staff, admin, everybody's cool, dude. Like where I'm at right now, I'm blessed. I'm happy to be where I'm at, so it's cool. Other thing, I was gonna say, there's a kind of spoke earlier the last episode about the Support the Blue Run.
After all that, you're not.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good segue.
It's safe.
Yeah, my daughter's birthday, so during that weekend, and I don't want to be rushing around back and forth, going all the way to Fresno and coming back to town and being
you just cancel.
Yeah. So
the birthday.
Yeah. Other than that, I did that. Did that workout last Sunday. I was doing like a bunch of different.
Delivery King workout.
Yeah, I'm trying to do something similar to that with all the equipment that I had. So that was pretty cool.
I almost want to know.
Yeah. I also too, like if you watch or listen, whatever it may be, if you do your workouts or whatnot, you want to post it on the page. My brother's running every day, putting his stuff up. If you're comfortable with that, put your stuff up, or like we said in the past.
Chewy, I think Chewy.
Oh yeah,
post it sometimes.
Yeah, see that's cool too, cause like one of the main, one of the biggest things, like we said about the podcast, it's a time for just me and my brother to bullshit and talk, but also too, like by the stuff we do or talk about, if that motivates one person, then that's a win for us.
Yeah.
And like one of our good buddies, Chewy, I met him in high school and we kind of clicked up. We played at COS. We played football together for a year or so, and he's down south now. And
Professor Chewy.
Yeah, so he's been getting into running, doing a lot of running and stuff. Our schedules kind of there's a conflict, so we're trying to meet up to do another run. But yes, he's doing that, adopting that lifestyle. So that's a positive, dude. That's a cool thing.
Yeah. And then it was pretty cool too, because we speak like if someone wants to post something. Sometimes I'll go to that Stafford's, the chocolate and coffee shop, whatever it's called, and grab a cup of coffee and kick back there for like 10-15 minutes and post my stuff. And then I tag them in it, and then the other day when they shared a story on Instagram, they tagged us in it, the podcast page.
Oh, Stafford's?
Yeah, so we were on there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how many people watch it or just listen to it, but yeah, if you have your workouts you do, I mean, post it, and if you want us to do something or see something coming up that, hey, you know, the twins might be, you know, might be interested in that, you know, post us in there, tag us, and let us know how much you like it or how much you hate it or what we could do different. And I was gonna bring it up. I talked about last podcast. I'm gonna reach out to my buddy Kofi this week coming up, so we're gonna set up a date for that.
Oh, I got two.
Yeah, so we're gonna set up a date for that, and that one's gonna be really interesting. I can't wait for that one.
Yes, and you bring them up. You said he had like a thick accent.
Not thick, but you could tell there was another guy in the class that he was from the same area, and he had really thick.
So Sergeant Ali, he was from I believe it was West Africa as well, and he had that thick accent. And we do the funeral details, and when at the ending, after you pull the flag, you fold it. So then when you fold it, it shows the stars, and then on the red, it should show the blue. So if you fold it right, it have all the stars on it, and then you present to the family. So he always joking around, and then so when you fold it, when you get to the end, you fold it like that, and then you present. It will be like a lower enlisted, and then you present it to the sergeant in charge, and then he'll inspect it, and he'll look at it, and then you turn it, and then he looks at it, and then if there's anything showing, the red showing, he tucks it in, so it's just the stars showing, and then Sergeant Ali says, "See, if the red showing, the family keeps crying, so you have to keep tucking it in, so then they stop crying." Just the way he said it, that was funny.
Yeah, he was a cool dude, man. The Kofi guy, yeah, his energy was.
They're always, I think from where they came from, I think it's like they're grateful to the position they are now, so they love it.
And the thing I liked about it, because he was in our group, like his energy rubbed off, and just like anybody, they have a happy-go-lucky mentality, like it rubs off on you. One of our buddies, Baragon, he's real cool, man. Like when I met him and like got to know him, he was like, it seemed like one of our brothers or some like cousin, man.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy like you'll be having one of those days, and like you come around, he starts joking and stuff, dude. Like everything goes to the wayside. You forget about it, and just start fucking laughing, man. He's a cool dude. But I know it was pretty kind of podcast was a little serious today, but that was fresh. The footage was released yesterday, so just want to talk about that, and we got a couple things coming up that we spoke about, and anything else you want to bring up before we? No. All right. Again, you guys, thank you everyone who tunes in. If you know anybody that likes kind of what we talk about or interested in coming on the podcast talking about stuff, law enforcement, military stuff, or just kind of struggles that you went through and overcame, message us, hit us up, let us know, and we could figure something out. But until next time, thanks,
see you
guys.
later.